Jeffrey hates women. All women are hoes. They only want to sleep with Chad and Tyrone, and Stacy's will never like a nice guy like me. Jeffrey, why are you convinced that the problem is with women and not with yourself? Just look at yourself in the mirror and ask yourself, why should a woman be attracted to you? Adonis understands women like Jeffrey understands League of Legends. He's a wise, strong, masculine man with a deep understanding of feminine energy. Men like Adonis could not hate their other half because they understand women. When I was 15, 16, 17 years old, I very much struggled to get girls. I'd be autistically reading stuff online. I'd be watching like those cringe pickup artist videos of like, oh yeah, just go and use this pickup line. And so this was a period of my life of a lack of understanding, a lack of confidence, approach anxiety. And I was just getting to grips with like, yeah, I want to get girls, I want to have sex, so like how do I go about that? And then age 18 to 20, 21, I stumbled down the red pill rabbit hole. And I'm not talking about the red pill YouTubers that you see today. I'm talking about the OG red pill forums which aren't around anymore. Through my time there, literally imagine every single morning I'm going for a shit, grabbing my phone and just reading about what it takes to actually become a man that's attractive to women. I remember going through the full spectrum of emotions because I literally, there's points when I was so horny and stuff, and so I really had this huge desire. Then there's these periods of like, yeah, I don't care about women, they're all stupid anyway, like it's a waste of your time, just focus on yourself, king. And then more phases of like, yep, women are all hoes and I want to fuck them. And you know what I mean? I've been through a lot of different experiences, different kinds of personalities and identities for myself. And so I think I have a pretty good understanding of what it feels like to actually hate women because I've been through that period of my life. I think most players, most boys, most chads, most guys who have actually been good with girls, and I'm not talking about you who's had one girlfriend or something, relax bro. I'm talking about the guys who've got closer to like 100 body counts. And so I will say this with absolute certainty, there is one major reason why men hate women and why you might have some kind of like distaste towards women. You don't understand them. And I don't say that as an insult. Oh, men don't understand women. You don't understand them because you've been fed lies. You've been fed lies through movies, through school, through every bit of propaganda you can ever imagine. You've been conditioned to believe that women are a certain way, and the reason why you hate women is because they don't act in the way that you were told they were. For example, just count how many of these lies you have been told and you've believed so far. Women just want a nice guy. Women don't like the jocks and the assholes. Women aren't shallow, they don't really look at a man's appearance that much. Women have got so much heart, they're so nice and kind to everyone. Let's get a little bit darker. A woman's sexual past is none of your concern, and it will not change anything to do with her future relationships. If a woman does sleep around when she's younger and very beautiful, when she's 19, 20, 21, 22, you should not be concerned with that if you're her husband 10 years later. You should just be happy that you got with her and you should just accept her past, and it's not going to affect you at all. Women will stay with you no matter what. As soon as you get married, she's going to stay with you forever. I could go on, that was 8. There's a lot of things that we've been told about women that are simply not true. And this isn't us bringing women down, by the way. Me making these points isn't me saying, yeah, women are horrible. But it's to say, yeah, like women are human beings and they don't have to be nice to every guy. Yeah, women are quite vulnerable to the consequences of casual sex and degeneracy. And when a woman has sex with a lot of guys before, she gets into a serious relationship, it absolutely does destroy any possibility of like a good quality relationship for her. It absolutely does. This is proven stats time and time again that a woman's sexual past is a lot more consequential than a man's. This isn't us being sexist, it's just something that we keep seeing in data. And so it becomes a little bit hard not to hate women when you see their true nature after you've been fed all these lies. Because the average guy, I want you to imagine Jeffrey, he's grown up in the West, so already he's a bit f***ed. Jeffrey grows up a little bit, he's in school, and he's got a female teacher who's obese, and she's saying, yep, girls can do everything that a boys can. No, Samantha, don't pick the yellow crayon, you can have the blue one. Jeffrey, you can have the yellow one. He starts watching some movies with his parents when, he's 5 years old or so, and he always sees the same dynamic where the girl is quite obsessed and upset about the jock asshole, and the nerd's focusing on the girl's focused on the alpha Chad, and eventually the nerd gets her. The nerd, by obsessing over her, eventually gets her. And you might think like, oh, but this is just a movie. But we really do base a bunch of our beliefs off the things that we see, the content, the media that we see. How many of your beliefs have been changed by literally just listening to me talk? So imagine being in your very formative years, 5 years old, seeing this and starting to form the lifelong belief that the nerd who obsesses over the girl eventually gets her because the girl eventually realizes just how nice he is, how nice and caring he is. What they don't show is the realistic other side of this, movie dynamic, where that Chad jock asshole guy that the woman's upset about literally deep throated the out of her every single morning, and she's just upset because he hasn't replied fast enough, and the nerd's there just waiting like, oh, one day I'll get my princess. But you know what the Hollywood somewhat correctly shows, but very subtly that most people don't pick up on? It's only once she has been taken by a better man, after that, not in replacement, after that then she will get with the beta. And this is like literally the dynamic you will always see when you look around. Jeffrey grows up, goes through like the high school experience, struggles with girls, always sees the same dynamic, that the asshole's getting the girls, and he's the nerd. He's obsessing over the girl, but the girl doesn't like him back. And he gets a little bit older, and he gets like the party days in university and college, and he's seeing rampant sexual behavior for the girls, not so much for him and his friends. And it literally makes him feel some weird feeling when he's in some kind of party, and he hears girls say that they want to that guy tonight, and he's thinking, how do girls speak about this? He's never seen this in a movie before. Jeffrey's 25 years old, focusing a little bit more on his career, still struggling with girls, maybe gets a date here and there. And eventually, once Jeffrey's actually doing okay with his career, age 28, that same girl that ignored him in high school, that he heard saying that she wanted to fuck and did fuck that guy in the party in the bathroom. Eventually, that same girl will now look at him and say like, yeah, I want a real man. Yo, you've been waiting for me all this time, Jeffrey. And he's so happy. Finally, she's seen my worth. And yeah, I'm just gonna ignore her past, without realizing that if a woman has slept around, that makes her drastically more likely to cheat and divorce him. They get married at age 30, have their first kids at 33, have their second kid age 36, wait a couple of years, their sex life goes to absolute zero. Jeffrey's, used to it now. Yeah, she had kids, and yeah, she's just tired. Yeah, she's just not really in the mood. She doesn't really have a high sex drive. And then he gets that gut feeling. Just the most subtle actions from her, the most subtle actions. Where one day, she's texting, and he just sees her, does this like thumb action. Another day, she's like texting her something, and she puts her phone down like this. And then for some reason, Jeffrey feels some kind of suspicious pain right here in his gut. Some kind of primal fear. And he starts getting neurotically anxious. He knows her passcode. He's seen her enter it before. She just went to the bathroom and she left her phone on the kitchen table. Quickly, Jeffrey grabs it, enters the passcode, it works. And his heart starts to beat fast, and he starts to feel like very fucking vigilant. Like, okay, as soon as I hear the flush, I'm gonna put the phone down. Swipes up so you can see what recent apps have been opened. Okay, it looks okay. She's just been messaging her girls. Okay, looks through her messages. Oh yeah, there's no guys here. Yeah, okay, it's fine. Yeah, see, she wasn't cheating on me. Oh, phew. And then on her phone, she gets a new message from her female best friend, ecstatic about something. And he clicks on it, and that's where all the juice is hidden. It's his wife, the mother of his children, reminiscing about the dick that she used to get 15 years ago. Chad's back in town now, go. Oh, Jeffrey won't find out. Divorce, the good career that Jeffrey worked up for, most of his income's gone. Okay, imagine, literally, realistically imagine, because you might be young and you've never really seen this. Realistically imagine that inside of Jeffrey's bank, he gets $5,000 a month from his job, which is pretty good, right? $5,000 a month. And his expenses for the house and everything was like 4K, 5K, like 4.5 or something, right? Now imagine that just with the divorce, the childcare, the alimony that you have to pay, like this weird marriage laws that are really old, is like if a man and woman divorce, the person who makes the most, which is usually the man, has to just give free money to the woman plus the childcare. Out of the 5,000 that he had in income, he needs to give 1.5 grand to her. She keeps the house, keeps the kids. 1.5K he has to give per month, maybe 2K, maybe 2.5, maybe 3K. Plus the fact that now he needs to go and rent some place, but he can still see his children every Saturday. Yeah, and so he goes to pick them up. Daddy, mom's new boyfriend is here. She's moved on so quick. He's been drinking. He's been so fucking upset. And she's got a new boyfriend. He's living in the house with my children, and he looks like a fucking thug. Every time he wants to like take the woman to court to try and get more of like his kids' time, it's gonna cost him tens of thousands in like legal fees and everything. So now he's in debt. He's in debt to literally just go to court to ask to see his children more. He needs to ask the government, the law, so that he can see his children. His wife's boyfriend, and I don't say that as a meme, but his wife's boyfriend sees his children more than he does. He's living in some apartment, 1 hour commute away from work, gets home at 8 p.m, day in, day out, day in, day out, day in, day out. Age 41, age 42, the most common ages for a man to kill himself. And then Jeffrey does it. You might think that this is extreme, and I know for a fact there's gonna be some heartless like YouTubers, streamers reacting to this video live, like, oh yeah, right, dude, this is, oh, shut up, dude, this is so extreme, bro. This is a realistic example of what happens to a lot of men. This is what happens to the kind of men who don't understand women. The kind of men who age 28, 29, 30 finally get like a good girl who's finally realized their value. And why does this happen? For a brief moment, we're gonna need to slightly be disgusted and a little bit hateful for women, but we're gonna swerve this back around to end that. Because now we're gonna look at the same story, but from his wife's perspective, Jessica. You see, Jessica grows up in the same neighborhood that Jeffrey did, and she goes to the same school. And in the school, remember that fat teacher, the female teacher, who's gonna tell him, yeah, girls can do everything. Jessica, you grab the blue crayon, you can do it. Jeffrey, you can have the pink one, huh? Jessica's hearing all the time, yeah, Jessica, you can go play with the boys. No one can stop you. Go play with the boys. You're the exact same as boys. You can do whatever you want. She goes up a little bit more and she's watching like these chick flick movies where she's seeing the girls that are dating like the jock asshole guy, and they're obsessed about him, and he doesn't really care about them. He just keeps f***ing him around, and they're so sad and upset. Then she grows up a little bit more, and her parents are letting her watch a bit more adult movies, and she's watching like, those party movies where you see like teenagers or like early adults like drinking and hooking up with people, like Project X, like those type of party movies. She's watching those already. Age 13, she's already been texting like guys who are 16, 17 for a little while. Jeffrey's there, 13, still looks like a 9-year-old boy, and Jessica's there trying on push-up bras for the date that she's gonna go on tonight. It's not really her fault, but she unfortunately loses her virginity age 13 to a guy who's 17. She grows up a little bit more, 14, 15, and her experiences to Jeffrey are so different. Jeffrey's literally still playing Minecraft. Jessica's going to parties, drinking, and she's already got a boyfriend, and she's now cheating on him in the party toilet with a guy that she's just met. And yeah, you know, she's so sorry and stuff, okay? She gets a little bit older, 18 years old, time to, you know, go out to college and stuff. Yeah, you know, go to college and really study really hard. The first night that she goes to college, she tries weed and cocaine for the first time. And the second night, she goes out again, and this time hooks up with her first guy in college. She signs up for a bunch of the sports clubs, and in there's a huge pressure and just a push to just be provocative and to be promiscuous, and all these clubs sets it up to like party and everything, and she hooks up with a bunch more guys. You go, girl, and I feel so good, guys. I feel really depressed. Why aren't any of these guys messaging me back? But it's okay, you go, girl. Let's go get some more, girl. Going on a night out, looking good, Instagram pictures, getting messages, feeling good, height of my SMV, hee, everything's so good. One by one, every guy that she does develop feelings for doesn't really stay around that long. You know, maybe she has a relationship here and there, you know, 1-year relationship, 2-year relationship, 3-month relationship, but mostly the guys that she really wants, that really attractive hot guy that she's screenshotting. It's not Jeffrey. Seeing him in the club and being so excited, looking up at him, hoping that instead of just her tonight, he actually stays and cuddles, and he just won't. That's like what her and her friends are discussing, whilst Jeffrey's in the corner of the club staring at Jessica like, oh man, she's so cute. One day she's good, you know, maybe I should go up and walk to her right now. Oh, she's just speaking to her friend. Yeah, Chad's just her friend. Age 21, 22, 23, graduate, start working some jobs. Kind of boring now, but you know, Friday's coming around. Let's go party again, girls. Still liking ourselves. Yeah, still looking good. 24, 25. Oh, I don't want to go out again, girls. My head really hurts the next day, so I just maybe I'll skip tonight. Oh yeah, it's fine. You know, I'll just hop on Tinder. Oh look, just another Chad on here. Hopefully he'll stay and cuddle me this time. 25, 26, 27. Guys that she wants are just not staying around. And finally now she started to get the belief that those Chad alpha guys are not gonna stick around for a relationship. This is when Jessica and other girls like her start to resent men, and you know, oh, men ain't shit anyway. Men just want one thing. Yeah, there's real men out there. I want a real man who actually cares about me for me, and who wants to help me and wants to comfort me. A real man. I'd love to tell you at this point, age 27, 28, when she's talking about a real man, that's when she fully fell in love and devoted herself to Jeffrey. But the transition period's there. She's wants a real man. She's texting Jeffrey and actually thinking, oh, you know, he could do. Old habits die hard. She's still getting by guys who don't want to commit. She actually really enjoys the pleasure she can get from them. And so she goes on the first date with Jeffrey, comes back home. Yeah, he's really boring, girls. He didn't even try and kiss me. He didn't even me or anything. But Chad's coming around tonight. Jeffrey's like, oh yes, I made such a good impression. I go, yeah, so first date went so well. Yeah, she's gonna be my wife. Keep dating, 29, 30, you know, they've got really serious. Jeffrey proposes. Oh my God, I'm the luckiest woman ever. Jeffrey, he's so much better than those guys. You know, those guys were just all assholes. They're just young, immature boys. They just wanted one thing. But Jeffrey is different. Jeffrey's a real man. Let's get married, Jeffrey. He signs the paper. He's got a really good job as well, so that's really prestigious. That's small status, yes. They get married. They're having sex consistently. Jeffrey feels amazing. He's been waiting out for this. He's finally got his high school crush. Jessica never says it to him, but she thinks to herself and also in calls with her girlfriends. Jeffrey's not very good at sex, guys. Well, why don't you just go and see Chad like he's back in town? No, I couldn't cheat on Jeffrey. No, he's been so nice to me. And then it starts with an Instagram like. Chad liked her most recent Instagram picture, and she literally feels her heart jump out of her chest, and she's so excited at literally just the pixels on the screen that came from the kind of guy that used to just her and leave her. And Jeffrey sees it too. He is that observant, common man. He did see the like on her picture from Chad. He asks his friends about it, who are also chumps. Oh, don't worry about it. She's in love with you. She married you. She's not gonna do anything. He's like, yeah, you're right, guys. Yeah, of course not. Yeah, you know, she would never do anything to the man she loved. But he just didn't understand female nature. Because a couple of months before Jessica got pregnant, one night she worked late. Who do you think she went to see? She comes home, so happy to see Jeffrey, and like, you know, being extra cuddly today, kissing him everywhere. I missed you so much. She still has, that's too vulgar for me to say, but she still has like stuff inside of her. A few weeks later, takes the test. Jeffrey, we're pregnant. He's literally burst into tears. He's gonna become a father. She hugs him, and she's like AFK while she hugs him, literally just zoning out. No, it couldn't have been. It was only one time. It couldn't have been. No. It's Jeffrey's. It's Jeffrey's. It's Jeffrey's. Jeffrey is literally the ultimate supportive husband through the pregnancy. He's like reading up Reddit posts and YouTube tutorials of like how to help a woman who's pregnant, bathing her feet, massaging her all the time, doing all this stuff. Really good guy there for the birth. So supportive. Has the kid. Holds it dearly to his heart without realizing that that's not even his. Jeffrey, of course, doesn't ever distrust a woman. Doesn't do a paternity test or anything like that, because that would be really like cringe. That would be really uncomfortable. So he just accepts the child as his without ever even considering the possibility that it might not be. And he raises the child and literally never ever finds out. We're gonna premiere this video, and I know for a fact that for the last few minutes whilst I told you this story, which I truly believe is very realistic, I know for a fact that live chat was spamming www. Oh, he's right, facts, facts, facts. We as men hold on to a lot of resentment to women, and the reason why is because we've been told that they're not like this. We've been told that female nature is very different to what it actually is, because I want you to imagine a different alternative reality where from the start, Jeffrey, you and I, we were all told exactly what women are like. We had a class, you know, like gender studies. That same teacher, this time she's not a fat female, but she's actually an in-shape guy who's like a primary school teacher. And he's saying, yeah, Jessica, why don't you go play with the little dolls? And Jeffrey, you go play with the action man. And we see movies which are slightly different. This time, the girl is with the nerd, and then she gets eyes for the guys who's better, and she goes that way. We see the true female nature. We get told that girls will leave the guy if they consider him to be a chump. That if a girl loses respect for you, she will not even consider it cheating if she sleeps with another man. This isn't to be condescending, but in a female brain, and even in a male brain, these modern day structures of like a monogamous relationship, they're not even real things. A monogamous relationship in which if you go outside of it is considered cheating, that is literally just a modern invention that we've just made up. In our primal caveman brain, that isn't a real thing. And when it comes down to sex, it is truly primal. Imagine in an alternative reality where you were told this from birth. Imagine you were literally watching videos like this as if it was completely normal. Would you then still hate women? Now you might be like, yeah, because that's still horrible. But if you truly just knew as a fact that this is how women are, and it's not a bad thing, this is simply just how they're built, and if anything, quite frankly, honestly, it's a fucking terrific thing. You really want to get red pill today? You want to get red pilled? You want to know why it's a terrific thing that women have this nature that men think is so evil? Like, you know, we hate it. It's deeply important to make the human race strong. Women will actively feel disgust by thinking about getting impregnated by a weak Jeffrey beta male. They will actively drip and lust to levels you have never seen before when they think about becoming impregnated by like the Chad alpha male. I know for a fact there's going to be some YouTubers reacting to this. Yo, I see cringe. Alpha male, beta male, that's all cringe, bro. This can't be cringe because this is literally just our primal desires. This isn't some modern day invention. Women want to be impregnated by the alpha male who has the best genes, and then they know for a fact that that guy usually is not going to stick around because he has the best genes and he has the testosterone level to go out there and sow his seed inside of as many women as possible. But the kind of guy who will stick around to protect her, to provide for her, is that beta male. And conveniently, that beta male doesn't even have good genetics anyway. So let's just not have sex with him when I can get pregnant. And you think this is bro science? You think this is just some crazy guy in a bathrobe, bro? There are so many studies, there are so many researchers that have shown this, that when women are ovulating, when they can actually get pregnant, they find more masculine faces desirable. They start to desire more testosterone in men. And when they're not ovulating and when they can't get pregnant, they start to desire more softer faces in men, which is a well documented study. You know what that means? When she can get pregnant, she wants the alpha to pump his genes inside of her. When she can't get pregnant, she'll settle for a beta who'll provide and stay around her. Which one are you? Want to know why this is something we shouldn't hate women for, even though it hurts our feelings, and why this is one of the most important characteristics of women? Because they decide what man's genes are passed on. Do you really think they should, just out of pity, choose to make humans weaker just because Jeffrey wants to get laid too? Should the guy who's been playing video games for 15 years, who's been doing all of the bad habits, who barely even gets sunlight, and so his testosterone's so low, maybe he had potential, but because of his shitty habits, his testosterone's so low, he looks like he would be a bad person to impregnate a woman. Should we change her subconscious to still go with him just because they'll make him a little bit happy? Because this is obvious. Women aren't walking around consciously thinking, yeah, I want the best genes. They're not consciously thinking this. But time and time again, we're seeing that there is a very strong subconscious pull for women to go towards the alphas when it's time to get impregnated, when it's time to actually have sex. Once you understand this and you destroy the old beliefs that you were told about women, and you start to think like, man, why did I get told this shit? You know, just be nice and she'll like you forever. Like, what the f you on about? No. It depends what version of women you want. But just being nice isn't gonna get you shit. If you want to be her alpha, who she wants to get impregnated by, but then you also want to stay around for the children, be the top tier guy who's also nice. But just being a nice guy, just taking an interest in her, asking her about her hobbies, which category is that gonna put you into? Is she gonna think you're a Jeffrey or an Adonis? The reason why it fucking hurts so many guys, this realization, because you've been told otherwise. You've been told not to sexualize women, and then for some reason, you see that alpha Chad asshole sexualize women, and they have sex with him. And you're thinking, wait, what? That's not supposed to happen. Well, guess what? He displayed that he is the alpha who cares about sex. You displayed that you are the beta who cares about just staying around her and providing for her. You literally showed her which kind of man you are. That's why it hurts. That's why there's hate towards women, which now you hopefully realize should be redirected at 1, ourselves, and 2, at the greater world around us and the propaganda machine that we've been fed. You were fed lies about women, and then when you saw the true nature of women, you had this sense of hate towards them. A lot of men who actually become like good with women go through this phase, and then after that it starts to like simmer down, and you just start to look at women for what they really are. But with just the added thing that now you realize that she's selfish, and for her children she wants the best genes. And women can't, of course, you know, grab your genes and look at them in a fucking magnifying glass or some shit. And so they look at things that would represent good genes. And so why do you think in every single video that I make, I teach you to fix your body language, to stand up straight, to build some muscle, to get the aesthetic V-taper, to talk with some confidence, to hold eye contact, to sexualize? Because truly, we don't really know our genes. We really don't. You can get like gene tests and stuff, but like maybe less than 0.1% of the population has ever done that. If watching this video has given you this sense of like agitation, excitement, aggression towards women with this level of hate, it'd be so easy for me to say, yep, you're wrong, don't be hateful, it's so easy not to hate girls. I may be one of the first people who've ever told you, for quite a long time I hated women. There was a transition period that I personally needed to go through where I needed to destroy my perception of what they were to what they actually are, which is literally just humans. We pedestalized them from the start. We watched all these movies where the nerd obsesses over them and eventually gets them, and and then when you realize that they are totally selfish, self-centered creatures just like ourselves, and she wants the single best thing for her, not just, you know, what's morally good, she wants the single greatest life ever, which is that the guy with the best genes, the guy who seems the most alpha, impregnates her. And best case scenario, hopefully he stays, but most likely those kinds of alpha guys don't stay, and so it's the beta male who stays. That is literally the kind of best life, moral aside, that's the best life that a woman could actually have. Like in a primal sense, obviously things are different with culture and stuff, but in a primal sense, that is what their subconscious primal caveman brain still pulls them towards. Don't be that chump who's looking after the alpha's kids. I mean, the thing is, who am I to tell you what to do? If that's how you're built, fair enough, but at least for me personally, nothing would sicken me more. I'm so grateful that I learned this stuff at a quite young age 17 to 18. That's when I started to read into this stuff, and I realized that I was going to dedicate a large portion of my time, my energy, my focus into becoming more like Adonis, the ultimate male, because I did not want to be like Jeffrey. I will not live a life like his. Click and watch this video right now, do the hard work, especially when you don't feel like it. Mwah.